In this section of the course, we're going to begin our main project. This main project is going to be an app design that we're going to create multiple screens for. We're also going to start this from scratch and end with our completed screens. So in this video, we're going to start off with a style guide. So when I say style guide, a style guide is a digital document that represents everything we're going to use in our design, such as our styles, our patterns, our spacing, everything that we're going to use in our app is going to be stored here in this document. So since we're starting off our design, we really don't have anything done. We're only going to be able to do the basics. So I'm going to choose some basic colors, white, grays, and blacks. And I'm not going to go into too much detail with the colors because we want to do that later after we have our wireframes. Then we can play around with color. So in this, we're mainly going to focus on our typography. So what font family we're going to use, what sizes, and then we're going to collect some symbols. So we're going to need some icons, obviously. So what icon set do we want to use? We're going to decide all of that in this document, and things may change. That's okay. We can always come back and update the style guide. So mainly why you're going to want to create a style guide is it's going to keep the company and the brand practices consistent. And that's good with an app, or if you're doing a website and an app, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you create the style guide, everybody's going to be on the same page. So if you're working with a team, they can always reference this and see what you've done, and everything stays consistent that way. So there's no variations in type, there's no variations in color, everything needs to be consistent with a brand. In short, that's why we're going to create a style guide, because we're going to treat this app like it's for a real client, and it's going to have a style guide with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So A on the keyboard will bring up all these selections on the right for different artboards. We're just going to choose the largest web 1920 by 1080. That's going to give us a good rectangle document just so we can store all of these assets in here for now. So first off, I like to pick my font family. And for this design, we're going to go with a free one through Adobe Fonts. It is Proxima Nova. It's one of my personal favorites. So I'm just going to type out Proxima Nova. And mine's already set to Proxima Nova, but you would have to set that yourself. So Proxima Nova is going to be our font family, and we'll just kind of put that over here on the left. I'm going to zoom in a bit. All right, so I like to start with the title. So the title is going to be the largest font that we're going to be using. So I'm going to set this to 34, and I'm going to set this to a medium weight. And this is going to be our title text, so we can go ahead and hit the plus icon and add that to our character styles. And I'm going to double click on that to rename, and we'll just call this title large. So this is very consistent with Apple's font sizes. They have a large title like this, and then they have a normal title, which we're going to create next. So I'm going to hold Alt and click and drag on that, and that will create a duplicate. So for our second font size, this is going to be 17 sized font. And it's going to remain medium. So let's just put this below. We'll just do 10 spacing in between each of these. And I'll click the plus over here. And this is going to be for titles and buttons. So when we have a button and we have a font inside of the button, this is what we're going to use. I'm going to hold Alt and drag down another copy. And now we need a paragraph text. So we're going to keep the paragraph text 17 pixels, and we're going to bump the font weight down to regular. So I'll just go ahead and click plus on that, and we'll just type in paragraph. Next, I like to have a secondary font. It's just smaller than the body. So we're going to bump this down to 15 pixels. And it's going to be regular weight. So we'll click the plus on the character styles again, and we'll set this to text. This is going to be secondary. So that's going to be for things that aren't as important as reading text, small things. We don't want huge bodies of text in this font. And I think that's all the font sizes that we're going to be using. We have this overly large font. And for now, like I said, this is what we're going to be going with, but this could change as we design. We may need a tertiary font. Tertiary would obviously be probably the smallest font we'd ever want to use, maybe 10, 12 pixels. But for now, I'm not going to add that because I don't think we're going to need it. So we have all of our character styles set. Now let's start working on our colors, because this looks very similar. So we're going to need some colors for the body text and the secondary fonts so that it looks a little bit different than the title and the large title. So what we need now is a color for the body font. So that's going to be the first color we're going to select. So I'm just going to go over here into the fill, and I'm going to put in a color I like to use. It's 9999A5. That's around this range here. So it's like a medium to light gray. And so I'm going to set that also here in my color swatches. And we're also going to set the secondary font to that as well. So let's actually change the paragraph by clicking edit. And we'll just grab the eyedropper and go up there and grab that. And we'll do that in both of our fonts, just so everything is consistent. So secondary is default gray, and same thing with paragraph text. So next we need to decide our black color. And for our black color, it's going to be very close to black. I'm using 1A, 1D to 4. Any color in this range down here in the bottom left color of the color picker, when you have the blue area selected, I like to go with. So then I'll just add that black to our swatches. So now we have our black and our gray. I'll drag that black down to the bottom. And then lastly, we're just going to create a rectangle that is pure white. So FF, and we'll just add that to our color swatches. So we're gonna have a white text, gray text, and a black text. So that is our text decided. So next we're gonna need a icon set. So we're gonna need a lot of icons in an app. So I'm gonna go with an icon set called Box Icons. I'll have a link for that on this lesson. So I've dragged in a menu icon. And what I like to do in Adobe XD is create a rectangle. This is a nice trick. And I'm going to set it to 24 pixels by 24 pixels, and I'm going to remove the border. I'm also going to remove the fill entirely by dragging the opacity bar all the way down. Then I'm going to select that, hold Shift, and select the newly dragged in icon, and then horizontally and vertically align them so that the icon is in the center. Then I'm going to hit Command G or Control G to group that together. And so that's going to give us some nice spacing around the icon, and that's going to help when we're trying to align icons together. That can be tricky. This is a good way to do that. So I'm going to do that for every icon we use. For now, I only know that we're going to be using a hamburger menu, so I'm just going to add this one to our symbols, and we'll just call this menu. And that's all we're going to use for now. So as we're going to use these icons in our design, I'm also going to be populating the style guide with them as well, so we have a good record of the icons we're using throughout. All right, so this is pretty much it for our style guide as of now. I'm going to turn on the grid layout, and since this is a web artboard, it's going to do the standard 12 columns. That's fine. I'm just going to drag all of this, and I'm going to align it to this first column, and we'll just say type. And we're just going to put that above this, and we'll change this to a blue color or something. And then I'll create another one, and we'll just call this one icons. So we're just going to make these different visual sections throughout our style guide. We'll also name this artboard style guide. And as we generate this, it'll keep things nice and organized. So this is our basic style guide for now. We'll continue to work on this as we go. So that's it for this lesson. Next lesson, we're going to start off with our wireframes. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I'll see you guys in the next one.